Welcome to the Rev Game of the Week. I'm Jeff Porche, and after the break, we'll be joined by Joleigh Hartman as we start our fall sports schedule on Rev Sports. Tonight, we're going to start with boys soccer at the Pit. The Amant Gators, 3-0 on the season, will be playing against the St. Paul's Wolves, who are 3-0-1. When we come back from the break, we'll talk about the coaches, the teams, and the starting lineups, and much more. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications, the powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution, a network built for every possibility, moving faster than ever before, streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ETEL, and Vision are now Rev. New name, same company.
From jambalaya, pastalaya, and gumbo to daily lunch specials, Pot and Paddle Jambalaya Kitchen has Cajun dishes to satisfy your hunger. Pot and Paddle has 3 locations to serve you, including the one on Cabela's Parkway in Gonzales, Jefferson Highway near Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, and Jubin Crossing in Denham Springs. You can dine in, carry out, or let them do the catering for an office get-together or tailgating at the big game. And don't forget about their delicious daily lunch specials. You can check out their specials and more on the web at potandpaddle.com.
Action Therapy and Wellness is an outpatient clinic located in Gonzales. Our job here is to help reduce people's pain and improve their quality of life. We will see you from the beginning till the end. You will see the same faces here. You won't be switched around with people. Our goal is to get you functioning to an ordinary life. We rely on technology. Rev is great about staying on top of everything working and running properly. As a local company, using a company that is also local is very important to us.
You may have heard already, we're now Rev and Rev Business, but rest assured we're still the same locally owned company committed to our community. With our Revolutionizing Communities Grant Program, our 400 plus employees had the chance to tell us which community organizations they wanted to support. We will remain committed to supporting and revving up local nonprofits and schools. Here at Rev and Rev Business, we take pride in being part of this special place we call home. Learn more at letsrev.com.
Welcome back to the Rev Game of the Week. Boys soccer tonight at the Pit. Amant versus St. Paul's. Amant, the home team tonight. I'm Jeff Porche, and now I'm joined by the Amant girls soccer coach, Joleigh Hartman, who will be in the booth with me to make us all look good here tonight. Joleigh, it's great to have you here to do this.
Well, thanks so much for having me, and it's an honor to come out and watch these two great teams tonight. St. Paul, just a stellar program. Last 11 years just have been number one in the state. And the past 11 years they have won 7 state championships, with 3 of them being losses to Catholic right down the road. So it's kind of really cool to see them tonight. But then to see on the other side a young Amant team this year just coming in and starting off their season 3-0 with losing a lot of their key players last year, and it's just phenomenal for me to watch Coach Adrian and how he's growing his team this year.
Right, St. Paul's, as you said, last year they didn't make the state finals. Before that, they made 11 in a row, and they're the standard. Catholic High is also really good. They've won 2 in a row, but St. Paul's is really the standard. Amant, they've got a great program, and they have advanced very far in state, not to the finals or anything like that, but they have a great program. And what we're going to do now is talk about the head coaches for both of these teams. As somebody a lot about, Adrian Garcia, you see right there, he's in his 17th season overall. Talk about him a little bit.
Coach Adrian Garcia, I have the privilege to know him as a colleague, and also he started his career at Amant High 15 years ago when I was a student here. So kind of grew up with him. I've learned a lot through him, with both as a player and as a coach. I call him like my big brother. I mean, he's just all around here for this program, here for Amant High. He has done a phenomenal job job with growing this program because, like I said, from when he started till now, I mean, they are making wave, and Santa Maria High boys soccer is known throughout the state because of how he develops players and how he has promoted our program at Santa Maria High for the boys. I mean, a stellar career record overall.
And you saw the record right there. It's 269, 65, and 16 in 15 years, and 65 losses in 17 seasons. That's about four or five a year.
Absolutely, so yes. And this last 5 to 6 years, I mean, they just found more, tallies in the win columns, and that has to do with how he grows his program from their freshman year until senior year. They know what he wants. They know how to get it done, and he's just done a phenomenal job. And that St. Paul's coach, Sean Moser, I mean, he is coming in kind of new and fresh because St. Paul has had their head coach for such a long time, and then Sean is coming in here, and I mean, he's taking over what anybody's dream job. You come and take over St. Paul. So I mean, as of right now, both of these two coaches have such incredible talent on both of their teams that this is about to be a really good match ahead of us.
Right, and last year, when you look at what's happened with these two teams, St. Paul's last year was the 1 year out of those 11, and after the 11 in a row that they didn't make the finals, they lost to Dutchtown. And that game, they had it won. Yeah. They were up 2-0 with 5 minutes left to go in the game, and they lost in overtime 3-2. Just a furious comeback by Dutchtown. It was incredible to watch. Santa Maria, they had a heartbreaker against Denham Springs. They had a shot, and they just couldn't close against Denham, who had a really good player last year as well. And that's a we're going to talk about this a lot. This is a district game.
Yep.
And so Denham Springs has gone from a state rival to a district rival, and that's something we're going to get into a little bit more, but that's what we're looking at here today. We are still moments away from the start of the game. We are told that one of the officials is still stuck in traffic, so we may be starting a little bit late, but we got a lot to talk about here tonight, so we'll keep it here. And you get a look at the Santa Maria Gators right there, and they'll be wearing black tonight. They're the home team. And might be confusing to some of you out there when you see St. Paul's because they're wearing the gold. So we were confused for a moment because their Santa Maria's warm-ups were in gold. Oh, now they changed to white. How about that? Okay, so
helps us out a lot up here.
Okay, so how about that? I didn't see the change, the wardrobe change, but they were wearing uniforms with their names on it and everything, so I figured that was what they were going to wear. So this is easy, black and white. So
yep.
I like a very black and white kind of broadcast. And we do the national anthem. So we're just about ready to start this match between St. Paul's and Santa Maria. And while we wait for the beginning of the game, we'll go through the starting lineup, and I'll turn it over to Joleigh, and she'll give you the Santa Maria starters.
All right, well, we're going to have kind of the best 11 out here for the Gators tonight, starting a senior goalkeeper, Taylor Wall, a senior defender, Noah Faulkner, junior defender Leonardo Fuentes, junior midfielder Aldo Pardon, a junior defender Caleb Wilkinson, a junior midfielder, Micah Catini, which we'll see a lot happening from him. He's kind of what we call the QB, so he'll be our center midfielder for the Gators tonight. Then junior forward, Bryce Weathers. And then we have a junior Nelson Fuentes, and then sophomore Maddox Parker, sophomore Abram Lawless, and sophomore Brandon Perez, which those sophomores, I mean, coming to play St. Paul's your sophomore year, this is saying a lot about those three Gators.
Yeah, and you said that they lost a lot of players last year, and they're a young team, but they're still going to be a good team as they already started out with a 3-0 record, so they're doing fine so far. And I'll go ahead and go through the St. Paul's Wolves, their starting lineup. You have Hayden McWilliams, Killian Henderson, Brock Duncan, Max Pellegrini, Brennan LeBlanc, Wyatt Dupree, Lucas Piazza, Owen Spaeth, Christopher Wagisback, Danny Wayert, and Andrew Dufour. And when you look at their lineup, it's all juniors and seniors, so they have an experienced team coming back from last year, a team that was just moments away from making it to the finals in Division I.
Yes, absolutely. Like, as a coach, I'm looking at this going, okay, so where should I put my seniors at? Because right now that's 8 on the field out of 11 for St. Paul. So me as a coach, looking at this, I would be like, okay, well, as of right now, I need, a little bit more experience in defense, because you're telling me 8 of their players are seniors, so they're going to be the ones that are going up and scoring the goals. So, you kind of want experience on experience. But I'm really excited to see how St. Paul's comes out, just because it's St. Paul's, and then how these young Gators come out and apply pressure to St. Paul's.
Is it different with boys soccer than it is with girls soccer, with juniors and seniors in the lineup? Because I've seen a lot of girls soccer, and you know a lot about that. You get a lot of freshmen and sophomores on the girls' side who can play and who can score, and sometimes that's not as much of a disadvantage as it maybe is on the boys' side.
No, absolutely. I mean, for girls, everybody is just, how I view it. I have a lot of freshmen that are just fast, have the ability to be fast. So, I'm playing them. Senior girls are more going into kind of the defensive side, just because that is your experienced players. And then for boys, they're all fast. They're all very physical, so it just goes in who's your best 11 at that time. But, normally the girls' side kind of goes for who's the fastest, who's the most skillful. Doesn't matter freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior in that level. But for the boys, you kind of want the taller, more mature boy, kind of knows his body, has some muscle. So that's kind of one of the cool things about the difference now. I absolutely love watching the boys' game because of the speed of play. That is literally one of the biggest difference between high school girls and boys soccer. It's just the speed that they just run with the ball, kick the ball. You'll see there both sides of the goalkeepers able to kick a goal kick, which is in the 6-yard box, all the way to the 50-yard line. Girls, we're more going to 35, maybe, 40 sometimes, but the boys can literally kick it, half a football field, which I laugh because half of football teams around, Louisiana football coaches go and ask for soccer players to be the field goal kicker, or a kickoff kicker. So I always laugh at that, because that Sandoval football has had many soccer players. Bryson Trabo is one of them that I know y'all remember saying his name, for Rev Game of the Week during football season. So, he's a phenomenal player for both soccer and football for Sandoval.
And you're right about that, because everybody in the parish does that, because I can remember Ontiveros at East Ascension, also a soccer player, and Corbin Roussel at Dutchtown, their kicker is also a soccer player. So that's absolutely correct observation when it comes to that. And I think we're almost ready. I don't know if we're quite ready. They said about a 6:05, 6:10 start. You saw a little bit of stalling there, trying to keep a little bit warm on the field whenever you didn't have to look at us. But I think we're just about ready to go. I still don't. I spot, I believe, 2 officials on the sideline, maybe.
Well, for soccer, we can actually start with 2 refs.
Okay.
One is going to be on one side of the field. The other is going to be on the other side of the field, and they'll kind of run off sides without having a center. But once the center comes in, or one of those guys will kind of form into the center, and they will take their spot on the outside. So, I mean, soccer we can start with 2. It's up to the coach's discretion.
Yeah.
But me, personally, I like 3. So I'm kind of like, a little bit longer. But we'll kind of see this if it happens in the next few minutes.
Yes.
If we get started with 2. If not, then it'll probably be, a few more minutes. But I mean, honestly, talking about soccer, happening right now in the winter season, I laugh as the head girls soccer coach at Central High because we are one of 7 states that plays in the wintertime.
Right.
So I think that's, the kind of craziest thing because when everybody thinks of Louisiana weather, they just think hot. But sometimes it gets dang right cold here, in South Louisiana. And, we always, travel, and I like doing that. We just got back from Bird during Thanksgiving break. And it was a beautiful weather over there. And then, you come here, and we played in 30-degree weather 2 weeks ago. So, it's really crazy. But it's I always tell my girls, you chose an outside sport, so you should, kind of get used to the coldness.
Well, we're really lucky with the weather tonight. It's short sleeve weather, fortunately, as we are almost in December, but the temperature's in the low 70s right now. It's going to get into the 60s, so it's going to be like really, really comfortable and shouldn't be a problem. And I know that's got to be one of the considerations when you at places where you do the fall sport, because when it's 95 degrees and that turf is about 110, that's probably one of the reasons why you don't want to do that. Is you see St. Paul's, of course, they're going to travel well because soccer is a big deal for that school.
Oh, yes. That whole community. St. Paul's is kind of around the Mandeville, kind of New Orleans. Their program has always been so dominant and just so brilliant in just kind of developing their kids around there and keeping them around there. When you talk about Dutchtown, Cinema, and East Ascension, all of our kids are spread out between different clubs and this and that. These kids grew up playing soccer with each other, so it's almost like they have advantages over Ascension Parish because they've been playing, kind of the U5 ball together all the way up. So we always commend Mandeville and just how their tradition of soccer, has totally formed throughout the years and is kind of, put a little cast on us, which I'm very proud of Ascension Parish and how we developed soccer from when I played, and just how everything has been happening. But we now finally have our 3rd ref, so hopefully this game will start pretty soon. Right,
and the North Shore, of course, St. Paul's, the private school, they're going to be really good, but when you talk about 5A, and that's something you've had experience with, when you talk about Mandeville, Fontainebleau, North Shore, all these schools like that, everybody on the North Shore is good. They play really good soccer out there, and they're teams from the North Shore are always meeting teams from Ascension Parish in the postseason, it seems like.
Oh, absolutely, and that's kind of why you see a lot of the schedules around here. Boys and girls, we are trying to develop a more soccer community. So that's why you see St. Paul's here at the pit tonight, in November, not in January, not in February playoffs. It's, to beat the best, you got to play the best and, see it early on to where you can compete with that high level all the way, till you get into playoffs. And it's not like a shell shock. Once you get in playoffs, you got to face St. Paul's. We see a lot of teams like that kind of plays, and I don't want to be mean like this, but kind of plays the easier schedule and then gets into playoffs and then gets an 8-0 loss in the first round because who did you play throughout the season? Yeah. So I kind of really enjoy seeing all of Ascension Parish coaches, going out and playing, the St. Paul's, the Dominican, the St. Joe's, and all this and all that, to develop, your team and to get better, because if they're doing that, then when we play them, they're making us better. You play high caliber teams to kind of get you further into into the season, which I thoroughly enjoy. Having a harder schedule at the beginning to get the girls ready and see it and know it, to where when playoffs happen, it's not a shell shock. We're already in the mix with them.
Right, and we're going to talk about Santa Ma a lot here tonight because we got a lot of information. We have their schedule, and we could talk about the games they played and the games that are going to be upcoming, both on the boys and the girls side. We're not a lot about St. Paul's. We have their record 3-0-1, and we, of course, they're going to be a really good program, and they have 3 wins early on in the season. Their one tie came against Brother Martin, and that's another one of those schools that has a great tradition of playing. Just, I guess, soccer. I'm tongue-tied here. filling before a soccer game begins while we wait for the officials can be hard sometimes.
I know. And look, I just pulled up St. Paul's and everything else. I mean, their 3 wins came on Bonneville, which they won 6-0, and then Grace King won 1-0, and that is huge for Grace King, coming up and stepping up against St. Paul's. And then actually, just last week, St. Paul's beat Dutchtown 2-1. So, I mean, that's kind of huge, but then that also speaks volumes of Dutchtown against St. Paul's, scoring, that 1 goal with, beating them last year, and then, kind of going around, they wasn't shut out. So hopefully that the Gators can kind of get something together while this game, is about to start against St. Paul's, and one AP team can kind of be successful in a week of playing both of them.
And so we're just about ready to begin, and this is one of 2 games of the week that we're going to have this week. Our second game of the week will be boys basketball, the Gold Dome Classic. We're going to have Dutchtown versus Grace King. We just talked about them a moment ago. Let's see how their boys basketball team is. 4 o'clock on Thursday, but we're ready, and so we begin with Santa Ma with possession. Just underway at the pit, no score. St. Paul versus Santa Ma.
Yep, so we already see Santa Ma just going high and tight on this offense. I mean, you got to be the first one to score. That takes it, away from a team, and that just kind of motivates you. And you're going to see here that Santa Ma is all in the box because Santa Ma can throw the ball in. And please watch this.
And that gets all the way down near the goal, but it goes out, and so that'll be a goal kick. So when you play a team like St. Paul's, do you want to be aggressive early on when you're a team like Santa Ma, or do you want to just sit back and play defense and don't get yourself in a hole early on?
Well, I mean, you can go both ways. I'm a coach that I want to score early because I don't want to have to stress out at the end of the game. I want to get a goal in. I want to find a goal because it's naturally known that if you find the back of the net once, it's easier to keep going at it. But honestly, it's just to get on top of the team early on to get the nerves out. We found it. We can find it again.
And so it'll go out, and Santa Ma will throw it in. And the person you were telling us to look out for is Micah Cretini, number 8. We see him at about the 30-yard line, and he has possession now.
And that possession just kind of tried to chip it right over the defense of St. Paul's to find one of his forwards running up. And so, like I said, anytime you hear of a midfielder, they can either be out wide, like wings of a bird. Yeah. That's kind of what I talked to the girls about, or they can be the center mid, which is kind of their playmaker quarterback, as we can see.
Yeah. Nice job by number 7, Wilkins, cutting off that pass to the right. As now number 1 for St. Paul's has it. That's Michael McWilliams. And it's taken over by the Gators. And there's Cretini. And the steal, Cretini gets it back. And now St. Paul's was set up on offense. And
that's
little tugging in the offsides, yes.
Yep. Yeah, so anytime you hear offsides tonight, that just means that the team that passed the ball, they were just placed after their defense.
So kick comes from Fuentes, and They have possession and little push and take over for St. Paul's. And now you see on the far side, number 21, Wayert. And he'll try to get it to the center and taking over. And now here's a shot on right, and it is wide of the goal.
And it's still in, so Gators defense needs to track it down, get it out.
Nice block. And the St. Paul's maintains possession. They'll set up left. Center taken out by Fuentes.
And that's one of the sophomores for Central, number 22, Maddox Parker.
So far, the Gators have done a good job of maintaining control here, yes, on defense. And now they'll go back to the goalie wall, and he'll try to clear it. Gets it out about 45 yards. Trying to center. Right side, that's Dupree.
That was very smart by junior Caleb Wilkins for the Gators, just letting the ball out, giving himself a throw, which I don't know if you saw that. That was almost a 30-yard throw.
Yes. And I've noticed that the throws are like that. I can recall a couple of years ago we started covering soccer. There was a game at Dutchtown between Dutchtown and Santa where a Dutchtown player from about that position threw it about 35 yards into the goal, but the problem is you can't score from the throw-in if nobody else touches it, and that's
Correct.
What happened.
Yep.
And so now here's an opportunity and a shot on goal wide.
And that was number 11 for the Wolves, Owen Spee. He is going to be a name that we say tonight because he is one of their main goal scorers because of how he just came from out wide and then cut in. But I do have to give credit to Noah Faulkner for kind of shutting him down for the Gators and making him, kind of play that ball out wide because of a little push.
Wall came out, had a kind of awkward angle and just could not get there. And we have a whistle, and that'll be Santa Maria possession.
First foul of the game.
Yes.
It's all good. I've always called soccer football with only shin guards. It happens. They run into each other.
Yep, you see the contact right there. So Santa Maria trying to set up.
Yep, which that is the big debate of the time right now because of the FIFA World Cup. Is it soccer or is it football?
Yeah.
However you want to call it. I mean, here we call it soccer, but in some cases, in some games, it could be football because of all the tackling that happens.
It seems like it a lot. Yes, absolutely. Fewer flops in American football, though.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
And a lot more cramps, though. A lot more running.
And a shot by the Wolves, Brennan LeBlanc. I
Right.
mean, that's a name also you're going to hear tonight. He's actually their second leading goal scorer.
So St. Paul sets up.
And so for everyone watching, when you see one team just kind of passing, it's called a possession.
Right.
And you kind of really want to be the team that has the possession of the ball because that just means that the other team did not find the back of your net.
Right, and a lot of people, novices, might be a little confused with the strategy because you have the team setting up on offense, but they keep on passing it further and further back to set everything up and to open things up on offense. But that's something you don't really see in American football either. And what's the strategy behind that?
I mean, honestly, it's really like you kind of make it look like, the defense don't know what to do because if I keep passing it back and forth, that's making the other team move.
Right.
And with the other team moving, that space that my team can run behind them and find a pass or, a through ball or over top. It's just a strategy that's really, really known with St. Paul's.
Yes.
Because they want to get you out of position.
Yeah. Looked like a handball right
Yep.
there. We're about 8 minutes in. Jeff Porche,
Santa
Joleigh
Ball free
Hartman.
kick.
And no score between Santa Ma and St. Paul's. St.
Nope.
Paul's had a couple of shots on goal, but nothing very threatening so far. And that's going to be stolen. And here's an opportunity
That was
on the
kinda
right
bad
side,
clearance.
and it's staying on side, and it's in, and a goal. And the early lead for the Wolves, as I believe that's Nick
That's a goal
Williams
for
with the
St.
goal.
Paul.
As we have an opportunity to see the replay there. I believe that was Mick Williams. He's setting it up right side. And 9-1, and yes, so the assist from Dupree to McWilliams for the goal, and
absolutely.
it's 1-0.
Yeah, and look, the only thing he did was he just tapped it, with his foot to the left and right around the Santa Ma defender and just found the back of the net.
Nice pass downfield, and now this is McWilliams again. Cross taken out, and this is going to be corner kick, I believe.
So our first
Be a
corner
corner
of
kick for St.
the
Paul.
game tonight goes to the Wolves.
So 1-0 on the goal by McWilliams, and Owen Spaeth will set up the corner kick. And there it is, and taken easily by Taylor Wall.
And that was a great job by Wall, just kind of getting up and getting the ball out, because with guys, I mean, they can jump. We kind of don't see it on the girls' side, but while Wall being as physical as he is, he's known for getting up and getting the ball away.
Got a good 65 yards on that kick. But now St. Paul's setting up on offense. And they're going on that right side again. That's Dupree. Hits the ground, no whistle. And it'll go out. And St. Paul's will throw it in. This is number 2, Killian Henderson. Good pass downfield. Cleared by Santa Ma. Throw in for the Wolves.
And St. Paul's kind of like Santa Ma. They have the throw in as a weapon, throwing for 20 yards. But knowing them, they probably might,
They do.
same thing right there. And then
get
they
it set
found
up
the
center.
open person.
And
And
it looked like Dupree had a shot at it, but now we have a whistle.
yeah, you can tell he even knew himself. He
Yeah.
stopped because he knew he was offside.
Yeah.
But, I mean, once the ball's passed
Free
you,
kick,
you're
Santa
kind
Ma.
of like, well, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, like right here, he just stopped and he was like,
Yeah, he sees.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's always easier to see it on the replay with all the action going on. It's hard to keep up with the ball. Oh, there's a push from behind. That'll be a
Nope, nothing yet.
nothing. Yep. So this a foul, and
This will be another
it'll
free kick for Santa Ma.
be a free kick. Thought
Yeah,
they may
that
possibly
could be a card just because you are
Yeah.
not supposed to put your hands on the back of someone. Oh well, he kind of went over, with
Yeah.
his shoulder.
a little shoulder nudge.
Yeah, call it a little love tap.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Caleb Wilkins sets it up, and
And that's Bryce Weathers coming out from defense to clean up that ball. And so now you kind of see the Gators trying to win the game with possession, but they get that a bad pass and it's taken away.
that's Dupree, and he'll cross. And they'll set up on that right side. Now they'll go left.
And
All the way
anytime
across.
you see that a team goes from one side to the other, that's called a switch.
Okay.
So just switching it to get the other team off balance and get them not in position, because as soon as you switch, then that means the defense has to go from one side of the field to the other.
That's why we have you as the analyst. And so
I mean, and for people at home, I do want to say the black lines is soccer, not football lines.
Right.
So they go all the way out into the yellow where,
it's-
Sandoval stands. That goes for any team that has turf. So soccer, we're running a little bit longer than, 100 yards, both ways. So
Yeah. A lot of people might get confused because they might think the ball is out of bounds when it's basically you got to go across the black line for that. And so our score 1-0. We're about 13 minutes in, and early goal from Michael McWilliams about 9 minutes in, and that's our lone score of the night so far.
yeah, and
Here's an opportunity for the Gators, though.
And the Gators just subbed in 2 fresh legs, so this might, help the Gators with St. Paul's.
Wilkins up there trying for the header. Still in traffic. Can they clear it? And they do.
And the Gators were trying to call for a handball on St. Paul's, but the ref did not see that.
And so now the Gators will set up. There's Perez, number 30. He'll get it over to Wilkins. And a nice save, but it'll go out of bounds. And so while we got an opportunity, let's talk about the district that the boys play in, and that's Division I, District 6. And this year it's a little bit different. As you see, it's the same as the football. The Livingston Ascension District with San Juan, Denham Springs, Walker, Dutchtown, East Ascension, and Live Oak. You see the records right there. And that's a little bit new this season, as you see the goalie coming up, McWilliams, to make the save. And this is the district that we talked about. It's the same as 5A in football. The boys and the girls are both going to be playing in this district.
Yeah.
And so it's a little different.
It is, and it's been different because the girls have actually been in that district for the past 3 years, and the boys have been playing E.D. White and H.L. Bourgeois, that way. So for them, this is going to be a phenomenal district because, like how we said earlier before the game started, Dutchtown beat St. Paul's last year, and then Denham Springs beat Sandoval last year in the playoffs. So every district game is going to be intense and, just something that is going to be fun to watch.
Right. If you look at it from last year, you have, it's a shot on goal, nice save, and they'll clear it, and it'll be a throw-in. But you have 3 of, at least according to the power rankings, 3 of the best 8 teams in the state of Louisiana playing in the same district now, and that's going to be interesting because Dutchtown and Sandoval are going to be good. They're good every year. But now you're throwing in Denham Springs into the district, and that's going to be a tough team. As they throw it in, the header goes wide, and it'll go out, and it's a goal kick. So it's going to be a top heavy top-heavy district with the 3 teams. You would expect Dutchtown, Sandoval, and Denham Springs to be at the top of it. And other teams are not bad, but those 3 teams are usually right competitive in state every year.
Absolutely. I've always said it didn't matter, what district the AP teams are in. It's always going to be competitive. It's always us 3 competing against each other. But then now, the boys are in the district with Denham and Live Oak and them, and it's literally who comes. And here we go, a little chance for Sandoval right here.
Nice steal.
Kind of counterattack.
That's Funes.
And he's trying to have a shot, but it was blocked by number 10, Lucas Piazza, for the Wolves.
And so now they'll set up, and is he onside? No whistle, and good save
and
by
that was
Taylor
an
Wall.
awesome try by the Wolves.
Yes, Danny Wayard, number 21.
Yep, awesome try because he set up Leo Fuentes for the Gators defense by going out wide. And just a smart move by goalkeeper Wall for the Gators to come out and kind of put a body, on it. Great. But here's a chance for the Wolves because of a long throw-in.
And the header now cleared. And it'll go to Brennan LeBlanc, and he'll set up on offense. Missed the header and cleared by the Gators. Brock Duncan on the left side.
There we go.
And what do they call here?
That was an offsides by
Okay.
number 9, and
Yes.
one of the main reasons, I mean, to kind of see it was he started offsides as
Yeah.
soon as the ball was kicked. Then he made the run behind. But when you start from an offside, meaning behind the defense, and then make a run, a lot of forwards do that to where they don't think the refs is watching. But I mean, you got to be onside to even make the run to receive the ball.
So we're about halfway through this first half. Our score, St. Paul's 1, Santa Maria 0, and of course Santa Maria trailing. But how do you feel about their performance so far halfway through the first half?
I mean, halfway through this first, I mean, you can tell they are going up. I mean, it's not that St. Paul's is just dominating this game. I mean,
Right.
yes, every offensive chance St. Paul's had, they've just capitalized. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Santa Maria, they have to get shots on goal to even think about saying that, we came to compete with them.
Right.
But yeah, St. Paul's is up 1-0, and it came in the 9th minute by Michael McWilliams for the Wolves.
And they've had a couple of opportunities. You had the throw-in earlier from Wilkins that and the attempt at a header. Santa Maria thought that there may have been a handball in there, which would have really changed things. It's a shot on goal, and it's taken by Hayden McWilliams. So the goal scorer is Michael McWilliams, and the goalkeeper is Hayden McWilliams, to avoid any confusion. I would assume they are related.
But yeah, that was the first shot for the Gators, and it's not a bad one either. I mean, I know like some people are like, why do they shoot so far out? You have no idea. You just have to shoot. It's almost like basketball. You know, somebody shoots a half court shot and makes it. Well, it's because they shot. They took a chance on it, and that's what soccer is. I've had some of the greatest goals be because I was like, you know what? Let me just try this.
And there's a shot on goal. Nice save. Dive by Wall on the shot by Wayert. And so Taylor Walls looked really good out here. I mean, he did give up that one goal. He was kind of at a disadvantage, but he's made a lot of nice stops out there and done a good job for the Gators so far.
Absolutely, and we just watched that replay on that, and for any young goalkeepers, that was such a beautiful form because he got, the bulk of his body in front of the ball to make sure it did not go through his hands. So that was a great technique used by Wall.
So just can't get it past the defenders and get an open look at the goal, and that's what you would expect from a team like a smart, disciplined team like St. Paul's. So we're going to get another throw in.
And this is their long throw.
Right, this is Wilkins again. He did a good job earlier, but just nothing materialized in front of the net. And they'll set up again. And there it is, right on the goalie, contact, and cleared.
And Aldo tried to have a shot on goal, but he was just seen just out. And here comes the Wolves just from that little sweet pass by number 21, Danny.
But it is cleared. Nearly lost it. Got a little cute there maybe for a second, but they are able to get it. But now here comes the Wolves again. This is Wayert. Now inside and contact and a shot on goal. Easy save by Wall.
And another Danny Ware's shot, like I said, any of those St. Paul's players is going to be shooting. I mean, because as I'm looking at, the starting lineup, they have not even had a sub yet. And all of the players that have shot for them are seniors.
And so you have Hayden McWilliams who will roll it out. And nice pass, and they'll set up. Go on center, now pass right to Wayert, and taken away
Ware
by
just
the
kind of
Gators.
lost the ball. He was trying to get around the defense and trying to make them, go towards him and not the ball.
So this is Braxton Trabo trying to maintain possession, and
Great pass right there.
Beautiful pass.
by Aldo to Maddox Parker.
he's on sides.
Sophomore.
And chance knocked away. Will Trabo get to it? No, but that's Cretini.
Cretini was trying to find the Gator, Noah Faulkner, out wide. And that slide by Bryce Weathers kind of went off the Wolves, and that'll be a throw-in for the Gators on the far side.
So 23 minutes into the game, 1-0. St. Paul's with the lead. And so here we go with Wilkins. He'll look left.
Here's Micah Cretini.
Nobody home.
Yep,
we have
and
a
then
whistle.
that will be a free kick for the Gators right there on the 10.
All right.
Be a free kick for Sandoval.
So what are we going to look for right here?
So for anything for guys that is right outside that 18-yard box, this is going to be just either some of them are going to just try to score a goal from here, but you're actually trying to find, if you can see, like the referee is making the wall go back 10 yards. You cannot be closer than that on a free kick. But as you can see, their goalkeeper is standing right in the middle, so you're trying to get it just right there past the wall, which you can see Aldo just tried to for the Gators.
Right. Padron unsuccessful, but still possession for the Gators. And they set up on at center. Funes with a shot high.
Very nice, and he just had that right at that 25-yard line, which, like I said, guys, they're shooting from 30.
Yeah.
And, before girls are trying to get inside the 18-yard box, trying to get close and have that kind of goal. But guys, you'll see them just shoot. And like I said, before this game started, person that finds the goal first is the one that's going to control the game because it's less pressure, things like that. But as we're seeing, the Gators are going more on attack in this last 10 minutes of us talking about, them starting to control it and things like that. And we're starting to see St. Paul's not really have much possession as they did after they scored the first goal.
The majority of the possessions within the last 4 or 5 minutes has been on this side of the field, whereas for most of the night, St. Paul's has been the aggressor on the right side. And so they'll set up with Pellegrini. And a nice steal. That's Cretini. That's a little wide to Faulkner. It'll go out, and he'll throw it in. Very quickly, trying to get Cretini. Still trying to be aggressive here. And here's a chance of no.
And Sandoval still possessing the ball on that outside. Oh.
And they lose it.
Well, he had a Gator open, but he was way offside.
Yeah.
He even caught himself, too.
Right, that was Trabo, I believe.
And the Gators are subbing in right now, trying to get some fresh legs up at the top to kind of counteract with the St. Paul's defense.
Right, this is Abram Lawless and Brandon Perez. And Trabo is going to come out. Did not see the other substitution. So the header. Too many defenders. Nowhere to go right there. Now they like to get those long passes to try to get somebody sneaking out into the
to the wing side.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Because once you stretch a defense out, any of your middle players can go straight through and find gaps or holes or things like that.
And that's sometimes why they start so far behind, because you create more gaps, and with the longer passes you have more opportunities.
Absolutely, yes. So, look, they're going to find this player out wide and then go back towards the middle because they knew that they just separated him, just like how Danny just went through for the Wolves.
So we're going to start talking about Santa Ma's schedule and their record as when we get some opportunities here, as St. Paul's still the aggressor right here, and there's a block and trying to save it, and I believe he did, so avoids the corner.
Yes, awesome job by Leo, Leo Fuentes, just because of St. Paul's on the attack with headers and things like that. You know, they've always been known for that. So definitely you would want them to have a throw in there and not a corner. Oh, well actually.
They're going to call it a corner. Okay.
Yep, so that far
Corner
ref
kick, St. Paul.
saw something different.
So this is Spaeth. And it's in and taken by the
Very
goalie
nice by Wall.
So as they clear it, let's talk about Santa Ma's 3-0 record so far as we look at their November schedule. And we're going to divide it up into individual months here. But they've been successful so far. They have an 8-1 victory over Hannan. Then they defeated Ponchatoula 2-1 as they're trying to make something happen here, but so far unsuccessful. And then you have the 5-0 win over Lafayette. So they're 3-0, and then they play St. Paul's and Lakeshore, which are going to be two really tough games. And of course, they're trailing right now 1-0.
Yes. And that's something like, we was talking about earlier, just about having your schedule be playing, the top 10 teams every single year. You want to play that. You want to develop players to where, when it comes to playoffs, it's like they were ready for it,
Right.
and they have it. But, I mean, those 3 games that Senmal play, give it to Coach Adrian, too, because, as much as we might not hear about Ponchatoula or Hannan or Lafayette, that's actually getting those boys ready and,
Right.
confidence and scoring goals. So, I mean, credit to Coach Adrian for getting the boys that time to, create something and kind of get a little bit excited about the season, which on that instance, a Wolf defender headed it last. So the goalkeeper can pick it up if their teammates head it to them. But if they kick it to them, the goalkeeper cannot pick it up.
So we're about 30 minutes in now, the final 10 minutes of the first half, as still 1-0 St. Paul's with the lead as they set up to LeBlanc. And he'll try to go center. Nice pass. See onside, but nice block. Nice save. Another nice save. And dodged 2 bullets there. The Gators could have very easily given up a second goal. And you have a no whistle.
No whistle because of the Wolves still had possession, which that was a great call by the ref just because of the fact that
off the pole.
Yes, Sandoval just got lucky on that one. That is why the goalpost is a goalkeeper's best friend, and that was such a great turn by the Wolves.
Yes.
And as you can see, Taylor Wild just was in the right place after that bounce on the post.
So Brennan LeBlanc nearly scores. So they had 3 point-blank opportunities and could not get a second goal. So a big break for the Gators. But they maintain possession. St. Paul's on the attack. LeBlanc.
And he just cuts through the Gator defender so easily on the outside.
And there's just misses the attempt there. And a header by Curtini. And they set up again. Nice job. Now setting up right. Header. So I guess so far in the middle 10 minutes that we've seen, you saw Santa Ma with their attack, and they were the aggressor. But now St. Paul's is coming out on a mission here, it seems like, as the header.
And Wall is right there just to catch it very easily for him. And that's something what every soccer coach wants. You want a tall goalkeeper, as much as we're looking for, diving left and right. You want the tall one because then it makes the goal seem so small to the shooter.
And you could see when you saw the close-up, he's exhausted. The last 4 or 5 minutes have been really stressful for him, but he's done a good job keeping it at 1-0. And a slide and no whistle. And now taken by the Wolves.
And that is one bad thing about turf. You do slip and slide sometimes.
And there's the goalie coming out. Wall Clears it momentarily. There's a shot knocked away
Very
by
nice
Wall.
by Wall. Very nice.
He is exhausted.
Absolutely. But, hey, in that option, you know, if we see it again, you'll see
St. Paul corner
he
kick.
came out at the right time to just kind of make the kicker bring it back out. Just right there, how he had to bring it back out. But that was a great positioning by Wall. If he could have just caught it, you know, that would have saved Sandoval from a corner. And here's the corner right now. And Sandoval was lucky to head that out.
Right. Has great reflexes, Wall does, because he was able at a short distance to block that with his right hand. Did a good job, as we are now 33 minutes in, and we have another substitution. Number 15 checking in, Nelson Funes.
And number 7, Brennan LeBlanc, is coming out, and he's kind of been the offense for St. Paul's in this last 12 minutes. And same again, man, Wall just comes out, and it's just literally his last name, a Wall.
Yep.
He is keeping
Brick
it up
wall.
for the Gators right now.
St. Paul's, in the last 5 minutes, they've had a flurry of action, and they could have easily given up 2 or 3 goals during those opportunities, but nothing. And the score remains 1-0. So St. Paul's will throw it in. And you see how tough this team is. This team just comes at you in waves, and it seems like it doesn't stop once they decide to go and take the aggressive.
And that was a handball call
Free kick for Sandoval.
on the Wolves. Andrew Dufour. Anytime it's a handball, that doesn't necessarily mean that someone hit it with their hand. It could be elbow all the way to hand. So I don't want people to think, oh, like that person just slapped the ball with a hand. It's anything from elbow all the way to your hand.
Yeah. Any part of the appendage.
Yes. And then sometimes you might have ref, if it hits a shoulder, that they call a handball. So it's always up for discretion.
Good footwork there.
And then just lost it. But
Lawless.
number 4, Wolves came back, Max Pellegrin. So as we see, all of St. Paul's offensive chances have come from the outside back into the middle to try to make Santa Ma's defense kind of spread out and give them that opportunity to find the holes and the gaps to make the through runs.
Sandoval goal kick.
So if you look at the clock, it's counting down. Of course, when you see it, and when you watch professional soccer, it's going forward, but you're playing with a football clock. And of course, what's going to happen here in a moment, when the clock runs down to 2, they're going to stop it. Because you have the stoppage time.
Yeah, and any time in soccer in high school, our center ref is the one that has the official time. So there has not been an injury in this half yet. So it might be, just 4 minutes left, which we will have to see how this next, 3 minutes and 46 seconds go.
And so the shot high, another opportunity unsuccessful for the Wolves.
And we will probably see this a lot in the second half by the Wolves, just because of every time the ball goes out, that's seconds taken away, and that's kind of one of the biggest, I guess you would say, coaches look for to kind of have time management of the game. You don't want a team to have a lot of minutes with the ball, because they can make something happen with it, just like how Sandoval is trying to pressure goalkeeper right here.
Of course, I've seen a lot of that with the World Cup. When you have the lead late, you find ways or opportunities to not have any action.
Yeah,
that's kind of what you're talking about there, I guess. And it might anger the fans of the teams that are, if you're pulling for the one that's behind, but that's part of the strategy that you have. So now we have Killian Henderson who's going to throw it in.
We also see Coach Adrian to the right of Killian, just because he is getting to his defense about the misplay and non-communication in the back.
And 3 points for...
Man, if that would really work, I would win every single game. I'm pretty sure my girls go for the field goals.
I tell you what,
because that is what they hit every single time.
That guy should try for the football team if he's not on it right now.
Yes.
I guess that's one of the advantages of this being a winter sport is that you can have the soccer player be the kicker like you do in Ascension Parish.
Yes, yes.
So Lawless trying to clear it, and now an opportunity for the Wolves. And a shot on goal, nice save, and it'll be a corner. As now you see, clock is now stopped at 1:58. That is done on purpose. As we're about 2 minutes remaining.
That was an awesome shot by Wolves.
Yeah, that was number 15, Lance Daniels Smith.
And great job by goalkeeper Wall just coming off of his feet to dive for that because, yes, don't know how far back, the goal is when you're coming up, so you are just trying to get something on it to get it out. But their corner came all the way across and out, so now it's a goal kick for the Gators.
So now near midfield, 50-50 ball taken by the Gators and slide by Trouble. Can't keep it though.
Yep, and what you're going to see right here is Sandoval is going to add a few more people offensively just because of you're already losing. Don't know how much time is left, so we're just going to go all forward, kind of as a unit.
And a whistle and
free kick for St. Paul.
And anytime you have a free kick that, like I said earlier, is 25 and, closer to the goal, it is either going to be a shot on goal or you're trying to get the goalkeeper out to get one of your teammates to be able to head the ball.
Right. So we are heading very close probably to the end of the first half. As Joleigh mentioned, we don't expect a lot of stoppage time. There's been no injuries. So.
And even on kicks like this, some do not stop it, so the clock is still running even on a free kick.
Right.
So you want to hurry up and set up quick.
This may be the last action of the first half, and it's wide.
And that's actually a goal.
It went in. Oh, my goodness. Was that wide or it went in? It went in. That was number 9, Dupree. Wyatt Dupree with the goal.
That's a goal for St. Paul.
And so, like I said, anything 25 into the goal.
It is. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it actually just bounced over wall, and I'm not sure because I didn't really see it. I think a defender for Sandoval was right in his way, so he couldn't, judge the ball as it bounced.
So Sandoval will get an opportunity here as they now trail 2-0. On the free kick by Dupree. And that'll do it for the first half, I believe. And so we are at halftime, and our score after a late goal to end the first half. St. Paul's leads Sandoval 2-0. We'll take a break and we'll be right back. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications. The powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution, a network built for every possibility, moving faster than ever before, streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ATEL, and Vision are now REV. New name, same company.
From jambalaya, pastalaya, and gumbo to daily lunch specials, Pot and Paddle Jambalaya Kitchen has Cajun dishes to satisfy your hunger. Pot and Paddle has 3 locations to serve you, including the one on Cabela's Parkway in Gonzales, Jefferson Highway near Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, and Jubin Crossing in Denham Springs. You can dine in, carry out, or let them do the catering for an office get-together or tailgating at the big game. And don't forget about their delicious daily lunch specials. You can check out their specials and more on the web at potandpaddle.com.
Action Therapy and Wellness is an outpatient clinic located in Gonzales. Our job here is to help reduce people's pain and improve their quality of life. We will see you from the beginning till the end. You will see the same faces here. You won't be switched around with people. Our goal is to get you functioning to an ordinary life. We rely on technology. REV is great about staying on top of everything working and running properly. As a local company, using a company that is also local is very important to us.
You may have heard already, we're now REV and REV Business, but rest assured we're still the same locally owned company committed to our community. With our revolutionizing Communities Grant Program, our 400 plus employees had the chance to tell us which community organizations they wanted to support. We will remain committed to supporting and revving up local nonprofits and schools. Here at REV and REV Business, we take pride in being part of this special place we call home. Learn more at letsrev.com.
And we're at the half, and our score, St. Paul's 2, Santa Maria nothing, and the goals for St. Paul's, 9-minute mark, Michael McWilliams, and then at the very end of the first half, you had the kick from Dupree that made the corner of the net to make it 2-0. I'm Jeff Porche, and Joleigh Hartman is with me as we look at the little halftime talk from Coach on the Gators side, and he's a little bit behind. And what do you tell a team when you're trailing a really good team by a couple of goals at this point?
I mean, honestly, I as a coach, I want to take the positives out. Like, you can't just think negative because they can see the scoreboard and think negative. Santa Maria was driving up, was getting opportunities, so I would just capitalize on the great things that we were doing and try to continue to do it. Talk to my team about, like, what do you see? Because here's what I see. It might be something totally different. It can be ball movement. It can be that, I know what he's talking about right now is how they're going from the outside to the inside. You got to stay compact. You got to stay together because, honestly, those two goals came, that one was a free kick, but it came from outside.
Yeah.
Then the second one came the first one came it came from outside. It made its way inside. He faked out a player, to the left, and then he found the back of the net. And, that's all because of them being spread out, because that's how the Wolves are making the defense go. But, honestly, I know Coach Adrian, he's pulling out the positive things that they're doing and telling them, just we're right there. We got to keep going. We have to, find the back of the net in some kind of certain way. Santa Maria has only had 2 shots on goal in the first half, and it's like Michael Jordan said, I'm going to miss 100 of the shots if I don't take it. So, they got to have to be a little bit more in control in this second half to even, go up into the field. And I would like to see Santa Maria's defense come out and help offensive with making those runs like what the Wolves are making to the outside, to give an opportunity for, Santa Maria to score a goal. But honestly, I can see the Wolves coach right now, and he's more talking to them about finding the holes sooner in the Gator defense. But you said it earlier, Wall is being a brick wall back there, besides that free kick. He's also talking about their shots. They got to find the corners and things like that. With having a great goalkeeper like Wall, you're trying to get it low and into the corners as fast as you can, and not necessarily up in the air because Wall is tall, so you're not going to go over him in those instances. But, Coach Adrian and his Gators, I know he's going to, get them ready for the second half by just telling them continue to work, continue to do it, because, if y'all quit now, well then, we're already losing this game.
Right. So they're in a little bit of trouble right here, and they have another tough game on Wednesday that we talked about earlier with Lakeshore. Let's look at their December schedule as well, and they've got some tough ones there. They play a couple of teams from the Bayou District that they're used to with Central Lafourche and Bourgeois, but then you got the then you got to go back to the North Shore and you play in Mandeville and Fontainebleau. So, that's what you've been talking about. You want to play the competitive teams, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah, you absolutely do. And you want to play them early just because of if your team is seeing it, then they kind of have in their mind a picture of, okay, this is kind of where we need to be. Now, I never want to say that we're putting ourselves as the same as Mandeville or Fontainebleau. It's just like, okay, if a team is doing this to us, what will other teams do? Kind of compare and contrast and just kind of getting ready for, the mix of getting into district in January. If we're already playing and beating, if Sandoval comes out and beats St. Paul, in this second half, they're going to feel really great in December, and it goes into January. So it's just one of those things that as coaches, we put so much faith in our program and in our team that, what if Sandoval comes out, in the second half and scores 3 goals? What does that say, about them moving forward? So you always want to put your team in a position that is going to make them go, oh, okay, this is how we need to go.
And now the district schedule, which is the January schedule for the Gators, and you see they're going to be on Rev a couple of times. You got the EA game and the Dutchtown game, of course, which are home games for them. Then you're going to get the Livingston teams, Denham Springs, Walker, and Live Oak. So that's the district that they're going to be playing in this season.
Yeah, and they're looking forward to it because, no matter what, we're always going to be paired, with East Ascension and Dutchtown, and those are always great games. Doesn't matter if, Dutchtown or EA's number 1 or we're last place or we're first and second. It always goes down to the wire just because all of these kids know each other, play together so, for so long that it always goes down. But I love the addition of Denham and Walker to the boys' side because both of those teams are very competitive. They are very known to make it into the playoffs.
And when you talk about the playoffs, we're going to move to that now because the goal is to get to Hannan and Strawberry Stadium, and St. Paul's is used to being there. And as we look at the site, it's going to be on February 25th, and that's
for Division I, which, for soccer, it's not like how baseball and softball is. It's not semifinals or anything. That is where the finals are played only. Semifinals, a team can host it, winning the quarterfinals and things like that. So it's Division I is only on the 25th. So the girls' Division I state is normally around 4 o'clock, and then the boys is at 6:30.
Yeah, and last year Dutchtown played Catholic in the Division I final. So the teams in this area are very capable of getting there. So it's not within the realms of possibility that one of them gets there. We look at Sandoval, they haven't been there, but they've come close a few times. As you look at the last 5 years, they've made it to the quarterfinals. They made it to the semifinals in 18-19 when they lost to St. Paul's 2-1. That was definitely a heartbreaker, but they've been that close before, and they can get there again. They make the playoffs every year.
Yeah, absolutely. And, my favorite thing that I look at is the seed. You look at that 5, 7, 7, 4, and 5. How consistent has the Gators been? That's top 10 every single year.
Right.
That is showing just how their program is building and becoming from their freshman year all the way down, all the way up to their senior year. And I love that for Adrian and how he is building this program to continue to stay.
And St. Paul's, of course, we talked about them with 11 straight finals appearances. That was broken last year by Dutchtown, that 3-2 loss, a heartbreaker. You talk about they're up 2-0. That's what they have on the board right there. And then Dutchtown had a miraculous comeback and kept them out of that. But they've won 2 of the last 4 state championships after that with Catholic and Jesuit, probably the big 3 in Division I soccer, and
absolutely
they're right there with all of them.
And my favorite part of that, looking at the St. Paul's, was St. Paul's was ranked number 3, all because of Sandoval tied them last year at St. Paul's, and so that was really cool to see, and to know that Sandoval High School boys soccer has never beat St. Paul's. They have only tied them. So that is kind of cool, to see. To see that and how great of both teams had last year, and
right.
I I was talking to, some of the boys soccer players today, and I'm like, is this the year? And they're like, oh, yeah, Coach Joe. And then now I'm here at halftime. It's 2-0 going, come on, fellas, you got this.
But they're not that far away, and
No.
and I have experience at Dutchtown, being an employee over there, and I can remember a couple of years ago they were so excited in the regular season they beat them for the first time.
Absolutely.
And then 1 year later they beat them in the semifinals.
Correct.
So if you beat them one time, you get that confidence.
And it's who shows up.
Yep.
It don't matter what sport it is. The team that wants it and shows up is going to win this game. But here's the start of the second half, and already, I told you, Santa Ma is going to come out offensively because what do they have to lose now?
Exactly. And so we switch sides. So now Santa Ma will be working on the goal to the right. And it goes out of bounds. I believe that's going to be a throw-in for the Wolves. Yes, it is.
Yes.
That's Spaeth. So the header by the Gators. Not clear, though. Still have it. Shot on goal. Good save.
And already, St. Paul's is just, he was by himself. Didn't get a pass from anybody else, and that was Danny again, a senior for the Wolves, Danny Ward. And he is someone that St. Paul's looks for to kind of, I guess you would say, create the offensive chances, which sitting up here in the press box, St. Paul's actually changed their formation for this half, and it's more defensively.
So that's what you would expect, with Santa Ma trailing 2-0. Basically, is if you can just play defense and keep them from scoring that first goal, then you're going to be golden for the rest of the night.
Absolutely, it's known around the soccer world that a 2-0 score is actually the worst score in soccer because, like I said, if a team can find the goal once, they can find it twice.
Right. I learned that watching the St. Paul's Dutchtown game last year because I didn't know that because I don't have a lot of experience with soccer, but the announcer kept on saying the team that scores the third goal always wins the game.
Absolutely.
And that's what happened. They scored one, and then all of a sudden they scored two. They came back and won the game. So the next goal is
and here comes
I've
St.
learned
Paul.
that it's very important, as you were saying.
Yep.
So here they go.
And look, they took it from out wide to the center. That is their offensive game.
And so it's cleared by the Gators. That's Lance Daniels. No, excuse me, Nelson Funes. Excuse me. And they'll throw it in. And Wilkins. Santa Ma takes care of it. Try to go right, and it'll go out. And I believe that's another throw-in for the Gators.
Yep, and this is about to be a long throw,
This
too,
is where
for the
Wilkins
Gators.
is going to come in.
Absolutely. And look, for him, earlier when all of his throws he was right around the 25-yard line. Well, right here, he's going to be closer, so be ready for a ball that's going to be played inside the 6-yard box.
And so the throw-in and the header.
And the Wolves get to it first.
But Santa Ma still got a shot on goal, and he saved by Mick Williams.
Yeah, right to the keeper, man. If he could have just found the backside of it, that would have been awesome.
But there's your first opportunity in the second half as we're about 3 minutes in. 2-0 St. Paul's over Santa Ma. Jeff Porche, Joleigh Hartman with you as the Wolves will throw it in with Killian Henderson. And we have a whistle.
Santa Ma free kick.
So they'll set up.
And St. Paul still has Michael McWilliams that scored the goal in the 9th minute in the first half. And White Dupree still up and, doing offense. So as a coach, that's kind of cool that you keep the goal scorers in because it's almost like, basketball when you're on, you're on.
Here's an opportunity, but not quite.
They're just passing around inside the box, and it's going to get taken away by experienced defense, and then the Wolves just come right from here.
And there's a shot wide.
And Walls knew exactly how much room he needed to stretch out, and he didn't get a hand on it, so that means it is a goal kick for the Gators.
One of the things our producers noticed is that he's noticed the speed and the quickness of St. Paul's. The thing that I notice about St. Paul's is when they have an opportunity to pass the ball, the passes are right on stride.
Absolutely,
and
yes.
that's the thing that is so impressive about this team. There's nothing tentative about it, and it seems like they've practiced this forever. These seems like guys that have played since they were like 2 years old together.
Yes, and we have a little injury right here on a Gator. It looked like him and a St. Paul player kind of collided in nose or face or something, but the ref is just checking on him, and he did not stop the clock, so we are still moving on.
Yeah, that was Brandon Perez, number 30. And so Rice Weathers will handle the free kick. And that's going to go all the way to the goal. And a little contact, but the goalie, Mick Williams, maintains possession.
And I know we haven't seen a lot of action, with the Gators, kind of challenging St. Paul's goalkeeper. But, I mean, just instance like that, standing strong, kind of getting cold throughout the game, that's still, a great job by St. Paul's, because there can be some games that a goalkeeper doesn't see the ball, and then the last 2 minutes they have 17 shots on goal, I mean, you got to be ready and you got to be prepared for anything. But here we go, another throw-in for the Gators, and like I said, look for the long one from Wilkins.
It seems like they've had more opportunities though when they've had a chance. They've been able to take advantage of them a little more. As you had the one shot on goal earlier, and then you had the contact between the Gator and the goalie, but goalie maintained possession. And they'll clear it left. And St. Paul looking for a handball, did not get one, and Cretini's pass just wide. Looking for Easton Jarrow. Wilkins gets it. This is Cretini. And now the Wolves have possession, and they have contact and a whistle, and we'll continue play.
And it's a quick start for the Wolves, and you'll see that a lot just because of some teams would turn around and just walk back. But, you catch them off guard any chance you can get.
They like to be aggressive.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And the Wolves keep possession. And that's wide. Throw in. Number 12, Connor Braswell for the Wolves, throws it in. It's taken by Perez. Nice moves by Perez.
And look, this is Santa Ma's opportunity to get some possession and to get St. Paul's off. But I mean, we'll connect 3 passes, and then St. Paul's is already on us just because they're following the ball. They're not going to people by any chances. So
Funes trying to challenge the goalie, and it's taken away by the Gators, and so they'll set up.
And that's junior Micah Cretini. Like I said, he's kind of the quarterback, kind of the playmaker, and he's trying to do everything he can just to set up an offensive chance for the Gators. And this is a great ball in if we can get to it.
Pizarro over the net. So we're about 10 minutes in, 30 minutes remaining, 2-0. Wolves lead the Gators.
St. Paul goal kick.
And in this 10 minutes, Santa Maria has, 2 throw-ins and 2 shots on goal. So like I said, Coach Adrian's halftime speech is just, just keep going at it. If one goes in, it's easy to find the back of the net again. But, I mean, Santa Maria would be really lucky just from this, how the first half kind of played out, just to get a tie, with St. Paul's.
Right.
So that's kind of, I know what the boys are looking for, just to find the back of the net and then continue.
It's a good measuring stick early on in the season because you have a young team and you don't know where they're going to be at the end of the season. If you have an opportunity here, and we have a whistle.
Yep, it's going to be a foul from St. Paul's. He kind of just they both went to the ball, but some arms might be in between each other,
But as far as this is, even win or lose, this is a good measuring stick, like I said, because you're not going to play a better team all season.
No,
and early on, you get to see where your team kind of stands. I mean, the 3 wins are nice, but this is also a good indicator, maybe even a better indicator, as we have a player down, and he's getting back up. Looks like he's favoring a knee. That's Perez, but play continues.
Yep.
And it goes out.
Defensive center back for the Gators ran literally half of the field just to kind of go back and play defense.
I believe Catini's coming in.
That is Noah Faulkner's coming out, and then that is Caden Garcia. Familiar name, huh?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Making his appearance first time for the Gators.
So there's the throw in from Jaro. And Garcia. And St. Paul's still aggressor here. And it goes out and it'll be a throw in.
And so Santa Ma's trying with a quick throw in just to get them off. But, I mean, St. Paul's is just always great on defense just because they have people that will stay back, and play defense. But, I mean, as of right now, every coach is trying to get, have the best conditioned team to finish games. But, I mean, it's still early in our season, but, I mean, you're trying to be the best fit. And what we're kind of seeing right now is St. Paul's outrunning us in the offensive position just because of their defense being fast.
And this is Jaro, but it's stolen and a whistle.
Yep, so a foul right here by St. Paul's, just right in front of their coach. He kind of grabbed him.
Okay.
See, look, right here, just kind of that push to grab.
Mm-hmm.
And anything that you have a defender kind of doing a free kick, it's kind of free for all. You're just trying to find somebody open and kind of set up again.
And the header by the Wolves.
But you're not trying to find the other team, but it always happens that way.
I know what you were trying to say.
Because then now, you're free for all, trying to just run all the way back to play defense.
And it's cleared and it goes out. Brandon Perez. So we are 13 minutes in. And a quick throw in by the Wolves, but too far. And nobody home, and it'll be cleared by the goalie. This is our first game of the week this week. We have 2 games of the week that are happening, as on Thursday we're going to be at the Gold Dome for the Gold Dome Classic. We're going to have Dutchtown versus Grace King. And then next week we're going to get the Spartan Classic. So we're going to have some boys basketball coming up. And then we're going to have girls soccer as Vanderbilt Catholic is going to take on Dutchtown. Two schools I'm very intimately familiar with. Spent 3 years as a student at Vanderbilt. And then 15 years at Dutchtown. So that ought to be fun for me at least.
I really wouldn't say I'm close to either one of them because I'm trying to beat them every year.
Exactly.
But those 2 squads that you're going to see in 2 weeks, they are just phenomenal programs that have built some great teams in these last 15 years, both programs. I love playing both of them. It's always a hard-fought battle.
Yep, and a chance there, but goes a little wide and nobody home, and it's saved by McWilliams.
And so you see the Gators are just trying to get back to play defense. But as of right now, you know, with almost 20 minutes gone, you see St. Paul's bringing more people up offensively, just kind of creeping it in, because once you start bringing more people offensively, that's time management. They can hold the ball up. They can, have a chance, because in the first half we were talking about them just shooting, and then going and, scoring 3 points earlier. You're just trying to shoot just to kind of get the ball out the field and waste time. So that's what we're going to be seeing a lot, normally around the 20th mark and below.
So goes to midfield, and it'll go all the way to the goalie, who will clear it. 50-50 ball. Sandoval goes out of bounds. And Spaeth will throw it in quickly. And good clear.
And one of my favorite things about soccer, being after football, is the fact that Sandoval High players, you can tell, are football players, because they still have the bleach blonde hair from this season, running, and playing soccer. That's one of my favorite things to see every year.
Yeah, I noticed that, and it was hard for me to tell which one was a player, because they all have the curly hair and the blonde hair. So I was calling everybody Trabo for a little while.
Yep.
But there's 2 or 3 of them.
And we're just kind of seeing, St. Paul's go into that possession game again. To as you see 3 Gators running to the ball. They're getting out of position, and that's helping St. Paul's open up to find the open man.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. As they try to set it up to Dupree, and it's a throw in.
Quick one just to kind of get the defense off track.
But nobody's home for Spaeth. And here we go again. Spaeth will throw it in. He's going to take his time. Actually, they're going to go to Braswell, and he'll throw it in.
And so you'll see Sandoval is on the defensive end. They only have one person up for offense, and it's taking all 10 of them to play defense against that one kicker for St. Paul's that he just tried to dribble through people.
Yep. And he shoots it wide. So Wall does not need to make a save, and he'll get the goal kick.
And Sandoval is bringing in fresh legs, both in the midfield area, to try to help out with offensively, maybe something, and that's Abram Lawless coming in, and Nelson.
So 18 minutes in, and very quickly.
This might be a chance for the Gators, just St. Paul. That was the first bad pass that I've seen in a while from them.
That was Lawless trying to get it to Cretini now, and fight for it, and he's still there.
And Cretini's one of those kids that has been a starter for Sandoval these last 3 years. And one thing that I love about Micah Cretini is the heart for this game. He has always been the smallest on the field, kind of grew up his junior year a little bit taller, but he is the playmaker of Sandoval these few years, and it's been awesome to watch him. And I got to coach his 2 older sisters, so it's always been a pleasure to see a Cretini on the field.
Right. I guess that's one of the big advantages.
That's a bad clearance by the defense.
Yeah. And up high. We were talking about how girls soccer is different from boys soccer, because the underclassmen often do more on the girls' side, and that's one of the things. A boy between his sophomore and junior year could grow about 6 inches. You don't see that a lot on the girls' side very much. All of a sudden, a little kid becomes a big guy out there. That's kind of what happened with him.
Yes, absolutely, and we don't really see a lot of that happen in the girls. The only thing we see is that is the maturity level, and this and that. Nothing like, you come in at 5 foot and leave Seminole High. A girl's 6 foot, so we don't really see that.
That usually doesn't happen.
No, not at all. Maybe muscular, but that's about it.
Yeah.
And if we do, then I need to know what they did, because I need some of my players to know that.
Wish you'd have told me, too. So, around midfield.
It was just a little incident push by the Gators, but it's okay. It's. I mean, honestly, you kind of want to stop the momentum. So anything that happens, at the 50 and towards Santamont goal, I mean, it's kind of you just trying to, keep the play from not, scoring a goal. So
yeah.
And a lot of coaches use that as an opportunity to kind of give their players a break. Hey, just kind of nudge them a little bit, give them give them a free kick on the other side. I kind of agree with that, but then I don't, because then I feel like feelings get hurt, and I'm like, guys, just play the game, track back, play soccer.
Right. Just get over it.
Yeah.
And here's a challenge, and unsuccessful. And now an opportunity for St. Paul, but was he offsides?
Nope, it's going to be a yellow card on Trabo because of the slide.
The sliding? Okay.
Yep.
I thought they may have called that a little bit earlier. Why would it have taken so long for that to be called?
Some of it, the ref is going to continue the play, because if St. Paul still had possession, he's going to keep it going because of how close they are to the goal. But because of possession went out wide and nobody got it, he's able to stop a ball because no one was in possession. Right. But, I mean, honestly, it does help that the fans yell and scream, too, because then he's like, oh, yeah, I should do it. I always tell them, like, they're not the ones that call the game sometimes, but I also get the warning, coach.
Yep.
Because I'm trying to tell him he's the one that does that, not the fans.
And so Cretini tries to clear it. St. Paul's maintains possession. We're past the halfway point of this second half. Still putting the pressure. And there's a shot wide.
And like I said, they're just going to be shooting now just to make Taylor Wall run and get the ball and kind of take some seconds off of this game.
Still 2-0, St. Paul with the lead. So, Joleigh, what do you think about your girls' team and their chances this season?
I mean, honestly, I adore them. I mean, I'm so incredibly proud of my team and the program, and it's been, quite a fun 11 years to have this program. But I mean, we are going to be a team that actually surprises people. When we get it together, it's going to be an awesome ride for my girls. Kind of had a little rough start, but with losing to Newman, and we traveled to Bird last week. But I mean, honestly, it's just building them. We scored at each game, so that's helping us with finding the back of the net. But, I mean, honestly, I can't wait to see us play the Dominican and the Fontainebleau, you know what I mean, and then St. Joe's, just because of already we're showing how strong we truly are, and those 2 games that we lost was just mental errors. It wasn't even things that, a coach can be like, we got to go practice dribbling or practice. It's just, not following your man on defense or anything else. It's just kids. They think more about what they're doing after the game sometimes than what's happening during the game. Just life. It's a stressful, time to be a student these days. And 2 of the things, another yellow card is coming.
Yeah, I think so.
Just because that was a kind of dangerous play, kind of going up there and not really, going for the ball, kind of going for the person.
Right, that's number 4, Max Pellegrini. And so you're talking about playing teams like St. Joe's and Dominican and all that. Are you playing a tough schedule like the boys are?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we started out with Newman,
Yeah.
I mean, Newman, is in Division III, and they the past 10 years have won, 4 times, and they're just a program that is in New Orleans that is always phenomenal and always is growing no matter what. And I just wanted to play someone new and somebody fresh, and they were willing to come to the pit, for us to host our first game of the season. And I mean, I give all credit to Newman because they looked really great already as a first game of the season. But like same as St. Paul's, I mean, they just all played together for so long. I mean,
right.
You even commented on it earlier, like their passes are right to each other, and it's like when you gel with someone and have that trust, and that's one of the big reasons why you see a lot of the Ascension Parish teams have those big games on the schedule, because that builds it. You know what I mean? I mean, we've seen great chances, great possession chances from Santa Ma against St. Paul's. Normally, they're like, oh man, how did they even, play against them? And it's like, well, actually, it wasn't a bad game. They possessed it, no, not the whole game, but if they can just get that, real quick, that can help out. But yeah, Cretini, sorry, not Cretini. That is, looks like Maddox Parker, or can't really see the numbers from up here.
Saw Lawless 29.
Okay, Lawless. He was trying to get the ball the same as St. Paul's and just kind of went right for shins. And so that's going to automatically be a free kick no matter what. If the St. Paul's player would have went down, that would have been automatic yellow. And sometimes in some refs' case, that's a dangerous play. That could have been a red card.
Okay.
But, yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm really excited about this season. Have a young team also, just like Adrian. We're going to be looking a lot for some freshmen to step up for us. But I have 4 great seniors that can lead this team, past what, we did last year and kind of help us out in the bigger games.
Yeah, and the district, your district didn't change like the boys did. Here's a shot on goal, and it's in. And that's number 11, Owen Spaeth. You talked about him. You said, watch out for him, and he scores
and
from about 15
you can
yards
just
out.
tell from here he has been on this side this whole time, and they're looking for him and they're trying to distribute it to him and things like that. But I mean, that was just from that replay, a beautiful turn and just left foot. And that's something that any young soccer player that's watching right now, knowing where their goal is when your back is towards your goal, that's something that it's teachable, but it's also kind of like a sixth sense. Like, where the goal is. I just got to turn and put my left foot on it. I mean, those are what some of the best goal scorers ever. I mean, Messi is really big, right now because of the FIFA World Cup. He scored the other day on this beautiful kick that he simply just turned just like how Dupree just did, and it's just amazing, just anything like that. But no, I mean, I know all soccer fans are very excited for tomorrow morning when the USA plays at 1 o'clock. Well, not morning, afternoon. All my girls are like, Coach Joe, we have 4th block PE. Can we watch the USA game? And I'm like, yeah, would y'all want to pay for pizza?
Exactly.
Like, we're all about it because, that only happens every 4 years. And so this is kind of, I heard one of the boys, one of the boys from Santa Ma tell their history teacher, hey, can I watch soccer today? Because this is kind of like my history. Like, I'm going to be telling my kids about this. And the history teacher was like very, very baffled that he said, like, this is history I'm going to tell my kids, FIFA world champs. And she's like, okay, well, what about the history I have to teach today?
Yeah.
So
for St. Paul.
it's fun, but I mean, honestly, St. Paul's you'll see in the, counting down right now to 11 minutes and 38 seconds, which might have maybe a few seconds added on for the 2 cards that Santa Ma has gotten and the one little injury.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, you're about to see St. Paul's possess this and try to run out time. And they're very great at this. But Santa Ma has to apply pressure to the St. Paul's players that are just open, because if not, they're just going to look like chicken with their head cut off, running around trying to get the ball.
Right. So you're talking about the World Cup earlier, and of course I'm hoping that there won't be a lot of kids in ISSP tomorrow, so that I can take a look at the game on the side. But a lot of people that don't, not a lot of people know a lot about soccer, and they just assume we're USA. So
Absolutely.
And the thing is, they're saying, "Oh, we're playing Iran. Well, we're going to beat them, so we're going to make it to the 16." But that may not be what happens.
Yeah, no.
Iran, people who don't follow,
Follow.
world soccer, Iran is not a pushover, you might say. Well,
No,
they're just
absolutely
Iran.
not. Well, it's what I was telling my girls today. They were talking about it to me, and they're like, I mean, what is that? What is that country? Like, what are they even known for? I haven't heard it in history, and I'm like, the same thing that every time you put on a Santa Mal jersey.
Yeah.
Okay, I need you to think about that. You represent more than yourself, and you represent more than whatever. I was like, it's every soccer player, or any athlete's dream to wear, the USA colors, at a World Cup. But it's just any little thing. But I always laugh about how my girls view little things and this and that. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're winning. And I'm like, it's the World Cup. You have no idea.
That was an interesting point that you brought up, because I know the kids don't know who Iran is. And if you're my age, you know who Iran is.
Correct. Isn't it weird?
Hostages.
Because, I mean, any
on.
little thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
People don't know about the hostage crisis back then.
No. I mean, some of my freshmen that I coach right now was born in 05, 06, and I'm like thinking to myself, okay, yeah, I was a little over your age now when you were born, and so I'm like, man, y'all really haven't lived through the things we all lived through, and I'm like, what? Like what? Y'all wasn't born when that happened? I can't believe it,
Exactly.
And I love being friends with our history teachers, because they're even laughing too, like some of the things that they say. Oh man, and that is going to be in the box too, by the way. And so he's actually talking to the side AR right now, because actually no, it's going to be outside the box. Senegal just got lucky on that one.
That was Easton Jaro who's guilty. And so we are kind of wrapping up here in the final 8 minutes, and St. Paul's looks like they're going to advance, and with the 3-0 lead and an opportunity right here. They scored on a free kick earlier. That was at the end of the first half by Dupree.
Yeah, and as you just saw, the ref walked out the wall to be 10 yards.
And he got through and scored.
That went through Santa Ma's wall.
Andrew Dufour with the goal.
And look, it's that was beautiful. You see the 3 Santa Ma players, they all turned their back, and one of the things was, if you're a wall, you are a wall. Because Taylor Wall, Santa Ma's goalkeeper, went to the other side to see where it was going, and that wall kind of came off, and he couldn't see it. But just thinking as a coach up here watching this game, I know a lot of people are like, well, Coach, you lost 4-0. Honestly, Coach Adrian down there can take a few positives, and one thing I'm going to talk to him tomorrow about is the fact of his goalkeeper, Taylor Wall being, that wall, and having, such reflexes, we saw in the first half. That's such a great positive thing. Honestly, to me, as a coach, is you started 3 sophomores against St. Paul. Like, what is that saying about the next few years for your program and this team, and just how your defense kind of, has been here the whole game, holding them off. And right now they are subbing off Taylor Wall to put in a player right now for Santa Ma. I'm pretty sure this is Braden Thrower, Jr. He's wearing number 1 tonight, but his number is actually 0. So Adrian's kind of confusing us up here, but it's all right. I'll get him tomorrow about that one.
Yeah, and you that's a perfect name for somebody to go in, throw in bounds. He should be really good at that.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, Micah Curtini is trying everything to get this at least a goal, because you want a little showing, like, hey, even if we put a point up, people are going to be like, well, man, Santa Maria, scored a goal in St. Paul's. But, I mean, it's any little thing. And I know it's going to be the same thing when people see this score that St. Paul scored 4 on Santa Maria. Well,
and there's a shot.
Everyone knows Santa Maria is really good, so it could be any little thing. One of my worst fears as a coach is, someone seeing, us lose and be like, well, they must have been missing players, and it's not like that. It's who comes out and plays, and that's the one great thing about sports, is who wants it most. It can be the underdog, and it can be somebody that's really good.
Yeah, you have a lot of good takeaways from this. I mean, there are positives that are here. The one takeaway, me as kind of just a casual observer and not a coach like you are, is the fact that you played 70 minutes and it was 2-0, and just in the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game, they kind of let it get away from them a little bit. And it's kind of like when you watch a football game, that's the analogy I would make, is the score might be 14-7 in the fourth quarter, then you lose 35-7.
Yep.
But for 3 quarters you played a strong game, and the final score isn't as bad as it may have looked.
And the goal is wide open. Hopefully they see that.
And they're trying, but they can't.
Yep.
So,
and look, that's going to be a throw-in for the Gators. So, and we hear a few of the Gators coming alive at the other end in the their little student section they have.
So that's my one takeaway, is that you don't always look at the final score. People see that the next day and they say it must have been a blowout. And they had a chance, and here's a chance. Cleared.
And look, this might be ball was out, so that is going to be a goal kick for the Wolves.
So it was a strong showing for about 70 minutes, and everything played out about like the way you expected it. But
yeah, absolutely.
Even if the final score is 4-0, it's still a positive. There's still positives.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and absolutely. And a little bit more things that I can take is how you're saying 70 minutes you hung in. So already as a coach, I would be like, okay, so if we can play for 70 minutes, I hate to see how we play, with the little minutes. And man, didn't Braden Thrower just come in big for the Gators right there, with just coming out and just putting, his body in front of the ball. And Santa Maria is going to try to counter right here just to get something done. But that was a great defensive stop by number 6.
Yeah, that's John Christopher, substitution, who's come in.
Oh, we got a defender for the Gators down over here. Looks like he's cramping, which as of right now with 2 minutes. Oh, look, this is that replay from Braden Thrower. I mean, it's just a front slide, just trying to do something because of having the ball on the ground. You don't want to not be on the ground to stop it. But that was a great job by him coming in.
Yeah. And you got to get the second goalie in there at some point too, because you never know when he's going to be there.
Exactly.
Because what if a kid gets the flu?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. And that actually happened to us last Tuesday going to Bird. I had 4 players with the flu, so I had to call up some freshmen, to help us out, and it was such a great showing. And even though we lost 3-1, that's something that I took out of it.
Yeah.
I got freshmen to kind of get their feet wet in a varsity game, and that's something that I know Coach Adrian is going to see, and something that I see just from Coach Adrian is a few things about this. Is number one, I really want to see him play again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they know him. They can practice with it. They can see it. Mm-hmm. And then also, having that confidence of, man, those goals came because they went out wide and then center, and having this to watch it back on, having a little film on it just to be prepared. And like I said, what was people see that you lost to St. Paul's, it's almost like okay, like it's kind of a norm thing, and I really hate to say that, but it's just something that even though a loss is going to still bring you, great power points throughout the season. But, man, just that one goal could help out power points a little bit more.
Absolutely. So we're inside of 2 minutes now, so we're just about done. There may be a little bit of extra stoppage time, as you mentioned, with the red cards and one injury, small injury. But our score 4-0, so St. Paul's going to win. And want to remind you again, on Thursday we're going to be at the Gold Dome Classic for Dutchtown boys basketball, and then we'll have the Spartan Classic. Then we're going to have Vanderbilt at Dutchtown girls soccer coming up in the next couple of weeks. So there's a lot of great stuff happening as we come to the final closing moments of this game. And when the action ends, we're going to take a break, and we're going to kind of wrap things up after the break. But just finishing things up, just taking it easy here. They're still actually trying to be a little bit aggressive. There's a chance as thrower comes out, and that's just a shot on goal. Nice block. That's Faulkner.
Yes, Noah Faulkner was big for the Gators right there, with kind of going back and seeing that thrower was out of the goal.
So now you're going to get a corner. I thought that they didn't put their foot off the accelerator. I thought maybe they might have.
Oh, no, and that's something that St. Paul and kind of, the North Shore teams and, Mandeville does a lot, and that is the final whistle.
So our final score is St. Paul's 4, Santima 0. We're going to take a break, and then we'll wrap things up in just a moment. We'll take the break right now. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications, the powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution, a network built for every possibility, moving faster than ever before, streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ETEL, and Vision are now REV. New name, same company.
From jambalaya, pastalaya, and gumbo to daily lunch specials, Pot and Paddle Jambalaya Kitchen has Cajun dishes to satisfy your hunger. Pot and Paddle has 3 locations to serve you, including the one on Cabela's Parkway in Gonzales, Jefferson Highway near Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, and Jubin Crossing in Denham Springs. You can dine in, carry out, or let them do the catering for an office get-together or tailgating at the big game. And don't forget about their delicious daily lunch specials. You can check out their specials and more on the web at potandpaddle.com.
Action Therapy and Wellness is an outpatient clinic located in Gonzales. Our job here is to help reduce people's pain and improve their quality of life. We will see you from the beginning till the end. You will see the same faces here. You won't be switched around with people. Our goal is to get you functioning to an ordinary life. We rely on technology. Rev is great about staying on top of everything working and running properly. As a local company, using a company that is also local is very important to us.
You may have heard already, we're now REV and REV Business. But rest assured, we're still the same locally owned company committed to our community. With our revolutionizing Communities Grant Program, our 400 plus employees had the chance to tell us which community organizations they wanted to support. We will remain committed to supporting and revving up local nonprofits and schools. Here at REV and REV Business, we take pride in being part of this special place we call home. Learn more at letsrev.com.
And we're back, and we're wrapping things up. Jeff Porche, Joleigh Hartman with you. And our final score, you see up there in the upper left-hand corner, St. Paul 4, Santima 0. Goals in order. In the first half, you had Michael McWilliams and Wyatt Dupree score early on. And in the last 10 minutes of the game, you had goals from Owen Spaeth and Andrew Dufour. And that makes our score 4-0 in favor of St. Paul's. And Joleigh, any closing thoughts before we wrap things up?
No, it's kind of like just like what we said. St. Paul's is going to come out here and kind of try to take over and dominate, and I give it up to the Gators because it took them almost to the 20th minute for St. Paul's to find that, and that's so great as the start of the season, finding it and doing that. But I mean, kind of like we know St. Paul's is always going to come out strong and find a goal no matter who they play. Even their loss against Dutchtown, last year in the semifinals, they found the 2 goals easy, and then Dutchtown got to come back. And for Santima, I truly see something happening. Maybe have new people in different position, same formation, because it was going. I mean, they had a total of 4 shots on goal tonight, and that's really good to say that we had that against St. Paul's. I think Coach Adrian is going to take those 4 goals and just tell his guys, like, hey, we have to capitalize. You can't just say I had 4 goals, 4 shots, on goal. It just it needs to say, hey, I had 4 goals on St. Paul's. So great job by both teams tonight. They're both going to just take away that, it's going to be a long season. So let's continue to work and continue to grow as a team.
And so thank you very much, and good luck to you girls on the season. We'll see them later on in the year. So we'll be happy to cover them this season. And a reminder to everybody at home that you can join us on Thursday for boys basketball, the Gold Dome Classic, Dutchtown boys basketball. We'll have that at 4 p.m. And you see the upcoming schedule, the Spartan Classic the week after that, and Mandeville at Dutchtown girls soccer. And remember, Rev Sports 1 is going to be the channel on YouTube that you need to subscribe to get this, and the replay times. You see all that right there. So if you got just regular Rev TV, you can do it there as well. We'll be replaying it all through the week. So again, thank you everybody for joining us today, and please join us on Thursday for basketball. Our final score, 4-0, St. Paul's defeats Sanoma. For Joleigh Hartman, I'm Jeff Porche. Thanks for watching. You've been watching the Rev Game of the Week.